Good day, students. How are you? Christmas is almost here. I'm getting excited. Really looking forward to it. Hope you are too. We have time for one more story before you take your winter break. So what I chose today to read is one that is called A Child is Born. And this is from a very old story, a very old legend. And I'm not sure exactly which country it is, but it has been translated into our language, English. It is, and that was done by someone called Misha Gurn. And the art in this book is done by Gendra Kapek. And the title is A Child is Born. Joel had never seen such a star before. It lit up the night sky all by itself. Nor had he ever seen the three travelers tramping across the newly laid snow towards his hut. See the three travelers? This is Joel's hut, and there's the star. When Joel opened the door, he found three kings. "We are cold," said the first. "We are hungry," said the second. "May we stay the night?" said the third. "Oh, do come in," said Joel. "Warm yourselves by the fire and take whatever is left in the pot. It may not be much, but what little I have is yours." Once the three kings had warmed themselves by the fire and eaten from the pot, Joel asked them where they were going in such weather. "We have come many miles from the east," said the first. "We are following the star to the home of a new king, but he is a king unlike any other. He is the king of the poor as well as the rich," said the second. "He will bring peace into the world," said the third. To entertain his guests before they went to bed, Joel played a tune on his flute, and that warmed them even more than the fire. The next morning, Joel bid the three kings goodbye, and they continued on their journey. But Joel could not forget what they had said about a king of the poor as well as the rich, one who would bring peace into the world. "I must see this king," he said. But what had he to give such a king? "I know," said Joel. "I will play him a tune on my flute, just as I did for the three kings." So he packed up his few belongings and headed for the star. When he came to his village, the people asked where he was going in such weather. "Oh," said Joel, "I am following the star to the home of the new king, but he is a king unlike any other. He is the king of the poor as well as the rich, and he will bring peace into the world." "And what have you to give such a king?" they demanded. "Oh," said Joel, "I will play him a tune on my flute." "And what sort of a gift is that for a king?" they demanded. Without another word, Joel began to play on his flute, and the music was so lively and joyous that the people just had to dance along to Joel's tune. When he finished, Joel bid them goodbye, and he continued on in the direction of the star. He walked for miles and miles and miles until he came to a house where an old man was chopping wood. "Hello," said Joel. "I'm cold. I'm hungry. May I stay the night?" "Oh, surely," said the old man, "if you will only chop some wood for me in the morning." Joel agreed, and he stayed the night in the old man's house. The next morning, the old man asked Joel where he was going in such weather. "Oh," said Joel, "I am following the star to the home of the new king. But he is a king unlike any other. He is the king of the poor as well as the rich, and he will bring peace into the world." "And what have you to give such a king?" the old man asked. "Oh," said Joel, "I will play him a tune on my flute." "And what sort of a gift is that?" the old man asked. So Joel began to play on his flute, and the music was so sweet it touched the old man's heart. When Joel went out to chop the wood, the old man went to his big chest and took out his best blanket. Joel chopped enough wood that would last until spring, and now he was ready to depart. "Here," said the old man, "take this blanket. Your journey will be long, and you might get cold." Joel thanked the old man, and he continued on in the direction of the star. Joel walked for miles and miles and miles until he came to a wood. He found a little girl crying. "What is troubling you?" asked Joel. "I'm lost," the little girl wept. "Can you help me out of the woods?" He said he would help her, and taking her hand, he led her out of the wood to a town on the other side. "Oh," the little girl cried, "I can see my house from here." Oh, how happy the little girl's family was to see her again. "Oh, thank you," cried her mother. "What can we do for you for finding our lost little girl?" "Oh," said Joel, "I'm cold. I'm hungry. May I stay the night?" "Why, of course you may," said the woman. "What is ours is yours." The next morning early, even before the sun was up, Joel was ready to continue his journey. The little girl's mother asked where he was going in such weather. "Oh," said Joel, "I'm following the star to the home of the new king, but he is a king unlike any other. He is the king of the poor as well as the rich, and he will bring peace into the world." "And what have you to give such a king?" the woman asked. "Oh," said Joel, "I will play him a tune on my flute." And Joel began to play on his flute, and the music was so beautiful that the woman had to wipe her tears. Without a word, she went back into the house and returned with a large, freshly baked fruit cake. "Here," said the woman, "take this fruit cake. Your journey will be long and you might get hungry." Joel thanked her, and he continued on in the direction of the star. Joel walked for miles and miles and miles, and the star grew bigger and brighter with every step. And by nightfall, it led him to the gates of a great town. Here must be the home of the new king, Joel said. Only a great king could live in such a place as this. But the star did not stop here. It went beyond the great town's walls to hover above a poor hut in the snow. Oh, Joel said, the new king must live in a hut, just like me. When Joel entered the hut, he was cold and hungry. He saw the three kings. He saw several shepherds and some animals. He saw a man and a woman, and in her arms the woman cradled a little baby. Oh, said Joel, the child might get cold. Here's a gift from an old man. And he wrapped the blanket around the baby. Oh, said Joel, the child might be hungry. Here's a gift from a little girl's mother, and he gave the fruitcake to the man. And what have you brought the new king? Asked the woman. So Joel began to play upon his flute, and the baby soon fell asleep. Thank you, said the woman. You have brought the perfect gift for the Prince of Peace, the gift of love. The end. So, beautiful Christmas story. Beautiful Christmas story. And remember, at Christmas time, all these gifts and so forth are nice to get. But the main gift that each and every one of us can give, the most important gift, is love. Hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas. Love you. Bye-bye.